Welcome to this edition of the Board Wrap-Up Show. I'm your host, Sean Anderson for Ponca City Public Schools. Now, this is our monthly chat with the Superintendent of Ponca City Public Schools, Shelley Arrott. And we go through line by line of the Board of Education meeting. So if you've watched the Board of Education meeting, this is an opportunity to go a little deeper into exactly what was presented and what happened during that meeting. And Superintendent Arrott joins us, and
good to see you, Sean.
good to see you. The monthly presentations of the Board of Education. This one came with a little bit of a surprise.
It did come with a surprise. You know, we have a certified, a support, and a friend of education that the board presents. And our regular certified employee of the month was Miss Gay Ann Grace. She teaches science at West Middle School, been with us a long time. Wonderful team member, well-deserved honor. Our support employee of the month was Miss Cindy McVeigh. She works in the child nutrition program, specifically at Woodlands, and she goes above and beyond. Our friend of education was Amanda Grace, and she is a volunteer at Trout and also serves as the PTA president.
Very nice.
And then the surprise presentation that I stayed clueless to the end was I received a certified employee of the month award as well. So
Oh, nice.
it was really exciting. My peers wrote up a nomination and they didn't tell me because they knew I would pull it off
Right.
the agenda, and I was clueless to the end. I thought I was just helping present one of the awards.
Right.
So
That's
it was a pleasure and
fantastic.
an honor. It was such an honor, and it's a pleasure for me to be part of the PCPS team.
Yeah,
So
well, very well deserved. Those awards are something they start every Board of Education meeting with, and then student presentations, always
yes,
fun
those
and
are
interesting.
always fun and interesting, and give our students an opportunity to get some public speaking time in. We had art students from Woodlands Elementary come to us and share a presentation on how they did a penny art cartoon character project in their class under the direction of Miss Leslie Bent. She's their art teacher, and they had a slideshow and they spoke clearly and loudly, and they did a wonderful job, and their projects were awesome. And Leslie's our art teacher at Woodlands, and then she also goes to our alternative programs, Wildcat Academy and Team Pep, and they love her over there too.
Very nice. Site data reports. Now, what exactly is that?
We did have 2 site data reports, and we talk, our principals come in and talk about where they are with their current data, what their goals are, and what they're doing to meet those goals. So it follows the same format. They have a specific format they follow, but it is specific to their site. The board can ask questions that they may have of the principal, but Monday night we had Tim Williams, the principal of Woodlands Elementary, present, and we also had Trenton Murner, the principal at West Middle School, and they both did phenomenal jobs.
Fantastic.
We had one more student presentation that I don't want to leave out too. Our High Student Council had received an award, the Gold Chapter Award, and they presented to Mr. Dilbeck and to me. And year after year, our student council at High just does phenomenal things, and we have such great officers, and you think, oh my goodness, how's the next group going to top the previous group?
Right.
But they always do, and that's because their sponsor, Betsy Easley, is amazing. She has been the student council sponsor ever since she's been here, so for at least 25 years.
Wow.
And they do fabulous projects to keep the High students involved and motivated, and service projects, and can't say enough positive things. If they're not the best student council chapter in the nation, they are definitely the best in Oklahoma. So
Very nice. Well, part of the superintendent's job is putting together the superintendent's report, looking at several different things, a lot of numbers and stuff like that.
Sure.
What exactly was this report all about?
This is the opportunity to share with board members future goals, personnel needs, budget information, and this time my superintendent's report was on our personnel needs for 1920, and also a multi-year plan of reducing our class size. When the economy was not as prosperous as it is right now, we made some cuts, and there were some moratoriums put on the class size limits through the state, so we got to lift those limits, and consequently class sizes are high throughout the state, especially the large schools. And the revenue's coming back around, things are more prosperous for Oklahoma, so we need a plan to reduce our class size. And I'm going to tell you what our current class size limits are. Currently, we can have up to 23 students in a pre-K classroom, and we hire a full-time assistant for every pre-K classroom, whether there's 23 in that classroom or not. Currently, we have about 21 or 22 in a class at the pre-K center. Our current limits for grades K through 3, kindergarten through 3rd, are 27 in a classroom, and that's a lot of students in a classroom. We have a few with 26 and 27 in a classroom, but our students, our kindergarten students, our first grade, all of our grade level students aren't dispersed real evenly across the district, so we want to do some more even distribution while protecting each student's home site. So at 4th and 5th grade level, we have 30, or we can accept 30 students in a classroom, and that is a lot of bodies, and we do not hire class size assistants for 4th and 5th. Now we do K through 3 if 2 sections have 27 in each section, and they split a class size assistant. So we've got a plan to reduce that number. For the 1920 school year, we're going to keep the pre-K center the same, 23 with a full-time TA. At the elementary site in grades K through 3, we want to reduce that limit, our practice, to 25 students in a classroom. So that's a drop of 2 students in every classroom possible. And at the intermediate level, 4th and 5th, we want to take our number of 30 to 28. And if we do that and more evenly distribute our students, and I'm not saying pull students from their home site, but watch our transfers, we won't have to hire any staff to do that, because currently we do not have any grade levels that would exceed our new maximum. Good. But the strategy is to reduce that class size by 1 until we get to the year 24, 25, several years out, where we get back to limits of 20 in the pre-K, 20 in K through 3rd, and 23 in grades 4 and 5. And we would like to do it sooner than 24 and 25, but the reality is the severe teacher shortage crises is affecting that decision. So that's why it's a multi-year project. If we can reduce sooner, we will. But that's our goal.
Yeah.
At the middle school level, our class size limits are 30, and at West, there's not a disparity like there is across the elementary schools. We have some full classes in elementaries, and we have some that may have 20, 21. But at West, in our core classes, we have 28, 29, and 30 students in every classroom. Too many. Yeah. Several years ago, when there were issues with our funding and the economy, we cut a full team at West Middle School. We used the teaming concept, so we have a core teacher for 4 teams. It's kind of like having 4 elementary schools within one building, but we reduced a team about 4 years ago, and it has resulted in our class sizes being really, really high. So the goal for next year for West Middle School is to add 4 core teachers, an entire team. That's ELA, math, social studies, and science. And if in the reality, I may not be able to do that, but if not, the priority is on ELA, English Language Arts, and math, but we would like to add a full team. Our East ratio is pretty good. Right now we're in the low 20s in our class sizes and course. We don't have plans to add any to East. And at the high school level, we're suffering with our electives. We made some cuts several years before. So we would like to add 2 to 3 electives and possibly offer some more courses that may include philosophy or AP computer science. And a vision that Mr. Dilbeck has is to have a Wildcat Way class for all freshmen, teach them things like good study habits, note taking, leadership characteristics that could benefit them as a student and in life.
Right.
And if we require that for all freshmen, we would definitely need to add 1 to 2 teachers to do that. But those are some goals that we have.
Great goals, great ideas.
That's right.
Certainly not something where you can just flip a switch and make
We
it happen.
cannot.
It's a gradual thing.
I shared with the board some statistics, and I've probably done that, and I won't share all of the statistics with you, but and people have heard this throughout the news, but back in the years, starting probably in about 2011, 2012, the state had requests for 32 emergency certificate. So over a span from 2011 to 2018, 2019, we went from 32 emergency certificate requests to 2,859 in December of the 18-19 school year. So that shows you the impact. And just a little bit more information, district superintendents did a survey at the beginning of the year, and in August of 2018 of this school year, across the state, there were 536 vacancies. That means classrooms with unfilled teachers.
Wow.
There were no teachers.
Wow.
So consequently, districts had to cut many sections, and there's a lot of high class sizes. We cut 2 positions last year, not because we couldn't get a teacher, but to accommodate our class size levels.
Right.
Now, last year was also our first year to have an open position. It wasn't in elementary, but it was in special education. Yeah. And I'm pleased to say that Monday night, we actually hired a teacher to fill that open position. So we are once again full. But projections show that in the last 7 years, the number of college students who are participating in education programs has declined by 46%.
Wow.
So the struggle is real when it comes to finding certified teachers. Now, we happen to have on staff throughout the entire district 36 teachers on an emergency certificate, and they have not been through the teacher prep program, but we do our own induction process. They're really knowledgeable in their content, but they haven't had the training in like classroom management, teaching strategies that yield high yield results. And so we do a lot of our training on site with that. But without a doubt, the skills of the teacher happens to make the biggest impact on the academic performance of students. And experience plays a key role in that too.
Right. Consent agenda and financial reports. Is this pretty much just a routine part of every meeting?
Typical routine consent agenda, financial reports, and our committees go over these contracts and finances line by line prior to the board meeting. They ask questions. We make adjustments as needed prior to the board meeting, so that's just pretty standard.
Very good. Contracts over $10,000. Were there some of these?
We did have some contracts over $10,000. Our Power School subscription that we have to renew every single year, it's our student information system. I mean, it has all of our data, our students' grades, our parent portal. It's something that is required that we have to have. And then also we had an agreement with Kagan Professional Development. Terry Vogel, our director of elementary curriculum, contracted with some trainers to come in to provide Kagan training to 50 of our teachers. And I know she's been talked about Kagan during the Wildcat Chat, and basically it's just a structure to engage all students in the learning process. So everyone is manipulating content. It's really popular with our teachers. She just sent out the survey last week, and it's already filled.
Oh, wow.
So,
Incredible.
50 teachers.
Board of Education policy changes.
We did. The concert hall
Yes.
should be ready soon.
Yes, excited about this. Just waiting for that fence to come down.
Yes, we are. And as soon as we take possession, we will have an open house so that our patrons can come out and see the concert hall. Everyone will be amazed. Have you been in the
I have
concert
not
hall?
yet.
Well, I'll have to take you over there.
Yeah, I would love to see it.
It's amazing. You just stand in awe. It's
Wow.
wonderful. But we needed to set some parameters for the concert hall. And we've talked about this before. It is not a performing arts center. There is no stage. There is no proscenium march. There's no curtain. It is truly designed for instrumental and our vocal music students for performances. And we kind of set some parameters. When the building was built, it is built for educational purposes. We want to try to keep it for educational purposes. We have some guidelines that we're going to go by for some special events. There could be approval for use, but we won't have any fundraising events in the concert hall.
Right.
We won't have any like bands for hire, outside concerts. We may have OSU come and do like some kind of Philharmonic concert, but we have some parameters. We want to keep food and drink out of the concert hall to maintain the beauty of the concert hall, and that's going to be a parameter. But the use of facilities process needs to be approved, because from time to time we could have requests to use the concert hall, and that has to go through our instrumental and vocal music director, which is Miss Paula Cochran, then Brett Smith, our director of operations, and then he either approves or denies. There is an appeal process that can come to the superintendent or the board, but we do have some guidelines. We want to really take care of that building and maintain its integrity.
Absolutely.
So we also rescinded a board policy in regard to restricted access to Hutchins. We've had that policy for a long time, and basically it was a policy that students who went over to the Hutchins and hung out over there across the street from the high school could be counted truant. And Mr. Dilbeck just doesn't have that problem anymore, so we rescinded that policy.
Oh, good. Very good. Now, there's a cooperative that the OSSAA is working with, St. Mary's. How's this going to work?
St. Mary's requested a cooperative with us as a member school of the Oklahoma Activities Association school, and they would like to participate. They just go to junior high and then they come to our high school. They would like to participate in some junior high sports that we offer. They would like to participate in track, because they don't have a track team at St. Mary's. And they would like to participate in golf and tennis. And this has to be regulated by OSSAA and has to be approved by OSSAA, has to be board approved first, and then goes to the association. We do have a cooperative with Lutheran as well with junior high sports, with the exception of basketball, because they do have a basketball team at Lutheran. So we added St. Mary's. The board approved that, so we'll just need that final approval from OSSAA.
All right, sounds good. Then the board meeting went into executive session, the annual ratification of your contract and salary with the district. So.
I was approved. I have a multi-year contract. I have a 3-year contract, and another year was added to the contract. And my contract actually begins July 1 and goes through June 30th, but we always do it in January. And so another year was added. And then also my salary changed just a bit. The board actually voted to add the raise that I would have gotten as an administrator based on the state raises this last year.
Okay.
So that was pretty typical for superintendents across the state. So
very nice. Well, that is going to do it. That was a wonderful board wrap-up with Superintendent Shelley Arrott. Thank you for watching, and our thanks to Superintendent Arrott. Thank you, and we'll do it again next month, right here on the Board Wrap-Up Show. Until next time, thank you for watching.